There we go.
Hey guys,
Hello there, everyone.
how is everyone doing today?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey Chandra, good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. I'm in the land of the living.
Sounds good. Love your
That's
love
a
your shirt.
that's a good way to start. Good place to start,
It
rather.
is. You're right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I am as I mentioned, I am out here traveling the earth. So it's an honor to be here with you both.
It's an honor to be here with you, Chandra.
Yes, it's an honor to have both of you on as our two new and lovely contestants for Scribe Duel number 3. Now, before we get started on today, shall I first quickly go over the rules very briefly for both of you and for all of our lovely people that have made it to the live today and who will watch the video for ages to come.
Yeah, please.
Brilliant. This is Scribe Wars, our new gamified, quippy way of playing word improv challenges, but have a much lower barrier of entry for most people. The way the game will be played is that I will be directing our two lovely contestants here to study a word improv challenge set of words. I'll say a number, you'll scroll back on the Word Sleuth page, find the challenge, and the word will have preceded the challenge. For example, if I say 30, go back to 30, the 6 words you'll be studying will have come before that word improv challenge post. You'll study the words for about 90 to 120 seconds. What dictates this amount of time is how far back you need to scroll. The further you need to scroll back, the more time I'll give you to study the words and such. After you're done studying the words, I'll present you both with a battle. A battle is basically one question, and six battles represent a war, and every single one of these lives are called a duel. And basically, I'll present you both with a question, 2 lines of quippy dialogue, of which the second line will have a missing word. Judging by the context and the first line, you need to be able to guess and fill in the blank, judging from the 6 options you have, which you just studied. And once you think about your answers real quick, you'll write it down on your sheet of paper with your pencil and pen, whatever you have with you today. And Sandra, do you need to go get a piece of paper?
Yeah, let me dig that up. I can still hear you when I walk off. So
Okay, brilliant. I'll
continue on.
continue explaining the rules.
Thank you.
But yes, no worries. But yes, you'll write down your answer on your sheet of paper and then present it to the camera. And from there, I'll tell you if you're correct or incorrect. And from there, we'll do 6 questions. If there's a tie, if there is a tie by the end of the game, great. I'll do a tiebreaker. If not, then we have ourselves a winner for our first Scribe duel. Does that make sense to you, consider?
Yes, it does.
That makes sense.
Brilliant. And hopefully it makes sense for everyone else watching in on us today. But yes, before we get started, I think Sandra already has his, but let me just double check. Do you both have a pencil, pen, or sheet of paper with you? Brilliant, brilliant. Then in that case, why don't we get the game started? Before anything else, I almost forgot to do these pleasant introductions. 2 things. First, the rules I just explained were a quick abbreviation to make sure that I don't spend 3 hours explaining the rules. If you want to see the full set of rules for the live and solo version, the solo version being the game that all of our audience could participate in, the words are on the Word Sleuth page at Word Sleuth. And before anything else, I almost forgot to introduce both of you. So, hello and say hello. And why don't we start with Sanjay? Sanjay, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, good people on the planet Earth. I am Sean P. Wright. I am a locally and internationally based writer and poet, and I am glad to be here. And I hope to vanquish my esteemed friend here in this duel. No hard feelings,
Not at
right?
all.
Thank you, Sandri, for introducing yourself. And speaking of your friend, Concetta, would you like to introduce yourself today?
Yeah. Hi. My name is Concetta. I am known here as the Wordy Woman 20. Yeah, please feel free to follow me. Hope everyone is doing well today on this beautiful afternoon or morning, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. I am the author of Secrets of the City of Gold. You can find that beauty on Amazon. It's a retelling of the 2000 DreamWorks film, The Road to El Dorado. And I am actually also one of the newest members of Coffee House Writers. So if you're a participant of that website, yeah, check me out. I'm working on some new stuff there every 2 weeks. So yeah, that's it about me. And may the best wordy individual win.
Brilliant, outstanding. Thank you both. And with that, as your host and master of ceremonies tonight, Captain the Full Sailor, let's get the game started. So could I please direct both of you, my lovely contestants, to study Word Improv Challenge number 11. Because you're going quite a ways back, I'll give you both the full 120 seconds starting now. For everyone tuning in today and listening in on this live duel, you don't need to go on the Word Sleuth page to study these words because that would take you out the live. Let me quickly give all of my lovely viewers a quick introduction on what the words are. So the 6 words that our 2 contestants are currently studying to make sure they understand back to front are the following. Gaga, which basically means going crazy or foolish over something. Non-poel, which is having no match or equal, basically unrivaled. Doyenne, which is a prominent woman who is respected in a particular field. Viridescent, basically something that's slightly green. MacGuffin, which is like a storytelling tool that basically means a person or object is very important and drives the story forward in various ways. And bouillon, which is a broth made with stewing material, meats, fish, and vegetables in water. So those will be the 6 following words our 2 lovely contestants are studying, and I just explained to you to make sure we're all on the same page. And just to remind my contestants, you have 45 seconds left to be studying both of these words.
Nah, no pressure, Cap.
I hope not. Well, maybe I do. Because then we're less likely to get a time.
Now we're going to have fun today.
Yeah, I'm a 25-year pescatarian, so that food dish there, that's my blind spot, so.
Funny, I see that in the food store like every time I pass the soup aisle, there it is.
Brilliant. 10 seconds left for both of you. And that is time up. So would you both be as lovely as enough to wrap up your studying? And are we all ready to have the questions and battles start trickling in?
Let's do it.
I think so.
Brilliant. So, the first question, which of these lovely questions should I pick? Let's go with this first one. Do you think I could do well at stand-up comedy if I tried? Honestly, yeah. Put a idiot as blank as you on stage and we're bound to witness gold. And now fill in the blank accordingly. For anyone that watched the last live or the pre-recorded, you'll notice that we made a change of all questions are fill in the blank now. Mainly because fill in the blank with multiple choice beforehand was just frankly too easy because the words are that unique from one another. So it's very obvious to figure out which of the 3 it was. So from now on all Scribe Wars, we'll be doing fill in the blank from the very start. And whenever our 2 contestants are ready, let me know, and I would like to see both of your answers at the same time.
All right, I think.
All right. John, are you...
was trying to. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to see my.
That's the point. If it's not clear, you could just tell me the word when you show it to the camera. All right.
Gaga.
You both feel, is that what you both put down? Okay, so could you show your answers to the camera one more time?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Gaga, we verified it both. Gaga, I'm unfortunately going to have to be harsh here and say that you're both incorrect. The actual answer is non-poelled.
It was so in between those two. It was ridiculous.
I could imagine. The reason I wrote the questions the way they are is because non-poelled is one of those weird words that has two meanings. It's like matchless and unrivaled. And basically the context here is that it's an insult. This individual is such an idiot that put them on stage and you're bound to witness something funny happen. And because I know I won't be, actually, I won't say that, as Gaga may be a correct answer later on, so I'll explain the Gaga reasoning later. But for now, why don't I present you both with this question? This issue, this theory I'm trying to prove real seems impossible to prove. Wow, if this issue is giving you the blank of physics this much trouble, it must really be tough. So, write whatever word you feel like goes into the blank. I'll give you both time to think about it. And something I will state right now for everyone watching the live and all that jazz that I keep forgetting to say is that sometimes you'll notice that the word on the Word Improv challenge, let's just use an example, will be ran or run. That word will sometimes, due to the nature of the questions, won't translate one-to-one perfectly well. So, for example, our last question, non-poel, ended up being non-poelled. We're allowed to do those things and all that jazz, just so we're all clear about why words sometimes get added with an ed or ing at the end of them for the question. Because if I was strictly sticking to those, it'd be impossible to write all these questions. All these, it would take me a very long time, and it's only taking me a long time to write these all. But anyway, do both of our contestants have an answer?
I think so.
Brilliant. On the count of 3, show it to the camera. 3, 2, 1, go.
Iridescence.
So what did you write down, Cassetta? Because it's mirrored for me.
Doyen.
And Sean, what did you write down?
I wrote down iridescence.
YT-ho. So the actual correct answer is Doyen. The reasoning being is that I deliberately wrote the dialogue prompt to basically be like, oh, I'm trying to prove something is real that hasn't been proved real in physics particularly. When I was researching the word, doyen and stuff like that is particularly used to be like, oh, you're the best at a certain particular field. And when I think about field and research and being the best and respected, especially in a context where it's like, oh, it's special because, you know, you're an important, respected, woman in a primarily male-dominated field, I typically think of science in that way. Hence why I mentioned physics. That was the context clues and all that I managed to lay out in the dialogue prompts. I just like explaining my reasoning as I'm the one that writes these questions. But anyway, so far we have some scores on the table. This is already an interesting duel, to say the least. So, which question shall I do next? And so we're on the same page. The next question will be the last question for Word Improv Challenge number 11, as we do 3 from 2 different sets to prevent people from using process of elimination when, answering questions, as that's not in the spirit of the game. So, last question for Word Improv Challenge number 11, and I will warn you, this is a long one. So if you want me to repeat it, I can do so. And it may not make sense at first, but once you think about it, it the answer may come to you. My character decides to walk into the Lich's dungeon, hoping for the best. Your character walks into the decrepit dungeon and they immediately notice the almighty and powerful blank you've been searching for all adventure lying in the center of the room. Confused faces, this is what I love to see. Anyway, if you would like me to repeat the question, you can do. And other than that, get thinking of what the answer could be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stumped.
Oh dear.
I feel. You know what? Could you hit us one more time with that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. My character decides to walk into the Lich's dungeon hoping for the best. Your character walks into the decrepit dungeon and they immediately notice the almighty and powerful MacGuffin. Oh shit. I knew I would do this one day. I knew I would do this. Well, you know, I knew this would happen, and we'll move on.
That keeps it interesting, right?
I love it. I love it.
The context, the reason why I always sound like I'm really concentrating when I read these out is because the way I write every question is that every word dialogue prompt is written very normally, except for the answer, which is written with huge, bold, black text in like 14 size fonts. It's the biggest word on the document, and it always makes you want to read it out loud. But you know what? Since the question and the cat is out the bag, I'll mention why the answer there is MacGuffin. MacGuffin was actually a quite hard word to use in a regular everyday speech. Let's face it, none of us really use the word MacGuffin in regular everyday speech. So I decided, what could be a common enough scenario where you use the word MacGuffin and it's like playing games, playing like, for example, Dungeons and Dragons. That's why I mentioned the Lich's dungeon and all that, and the almighty powerful MacGuffin, because as the one that writes and runs a lot of Dungeons and Dragons games, the easiest way to make a story is find this really ultra powerful object that the villain wants to use to destroy the world. Bam, you got a story, get on your merry way, and find the object and prevent the villain from having it. And lectures and games and stories and stuff like that, they're very commonly attached to a MacGuffin that gives them their necrotic powers and all that jazz. Hence why the answer there would have been MacGuffin if I didn't read it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will admit that was definitely a harder question. These sets of words, I will admit, I made them a lot harder, mainly because I wrote them all last night and had no regard for difficulty. But let me say this next one, and I won't read it out loud because the word's at the end, so I could just cut myself off. But yes, new question, here we go, last one for Word Improv Challenge 11. I already told you, man, the bread is 100% in date. Are you sure? Because I don't think bread is meant to be this blank.
Got it.
All right. Give both of you time to think about it and present the answers when you're both ready.
I have iridescence.
Brilliant. You're both correct. That one was a real easy one. I decided to give you both after the hell of the last question. All righty, ho. So that is the first 3 questions, *4, done for Word Improv Challenge number 11. We'll move to a new set of words to prevent our 2 contestants from doing process of elimination. And so the next Word Improv Challenge I'll get you both to study is Word Improv Challenge number 18. A more recent challenge, but nonetheless still quite far back, so I'll give you the full 120 seconds to study it, which has started now. And for all of our lovely audience and people What's on us? As always, I'll go over what these 6 words mean so that you don't have to leave the live or leave the video to go see what the 6 words are. Oof. I remember these words. These were tough to say. But anyway, the first word is a petrichor, the earthly scent created when rain falls on dry soil. Acumis, which is feigning disinterest when you actually want something. Confect, which is basically creating things out of various materials. Overlord, basically a supreme ruler. And deluge, a severe flood. And lastly, auxilocide, which is a murder of a wife by her husband. I think I'm saying those words correctly. If I'm not, then too bad. That's not my job. Wifey ho. Then both of our contestants have 1 more minute to study all 6 of the words and really think about them and think about what kind of variety of contexts they could put in. Because as both of our contestants have discovered, I'm definitely not going to be putting every word in the easiest context possible. And obviously, I'll remind our viewers, just because a word doesn't have ing at the end or ed at the end, they can still be slotted in certain prompt challenges if the word calls for it. For example, if the word is one, it can fit in by being called upon as one-ing. Because as I said, words can be used in various different ways, and I want to make it clear that just because a word is not a doing word, it still can be used. But Whitey Hill, 10 seconds left for both of our contestants to study these set of words. And that is time up. So, why don't you both get ready, and let me just quickly do something that I realized I've forgotten to do. There we go, I wrote something important down for later. And Whitey ho, before I move on and start saying the battles and the prompts and the questions, I will say that, Concetta, I love that you're on the ball and really excited to show your answers, but only show them when I ask you to. But just in case that's on, it's just the integrity of the game that it's the child school thing of if you say the answer, then we can't confirm if the other person actually knew the answer and all that jazz. So when I ask you, are you both ready? Just say yes, and I'll tell you 3, 2, 1, go. Show it to the camera, all that good stuff. Hip hip away. And other than that, boring admin-y stuff. What words should I tell you guys right now? Why don't I go with this one first? Question 4 out of 6. Here we go. No, I told you I don't want any fast food tonight. Do you actually not want to eat fast food, or are you acting all blank and shy on me?
I may misspell the word, but
Same.
I'll say it out loud whenever you are ready.
Brilliant. Don't worry about misspellings and mispronunciations. Those are not the things I'll be judging you on tonight, mainly because if I was a contestant, those are both things I would muck up myself. Brilliant. Are you ready with your answer?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Can you show it to me on 3, 2, 1 now? So what is, because it's mirrored for me, what are both, if you written down?
Petrichor.
Brilliant. And consider?
Xmas.
That is difficult word to say. But unfortunately, consider is the one that got the answer correct. As the word acamus means basically feigning, basically not acting interested, but you actually want something. And I feel like we've all been in a scenario where we actually wanted fast food, but we have to pretend we don't want it. I was very hungry when writing all of these questions, as you can all tell, because I think if you look at all the prompts I've written, most of them are about food. But anyway, that's regardless not the point. And obviously, petrichor refers to the smell rain makes when dry soil, so doesn't really fit in the context of like fast food and pretend you don't want something when you actually do. Whitey ho. Next question. why don't we go for another food-related one? Okay, I have forgotten to go shopping, and I had none of the ingredients for a cake, but I managed to whip something up just for you. Thanks, it looks great. I'm sure it's the best you could do, blank, a cake using literally anything but you were meant to use. I'll admit, this is also another tough one. And of course, just let me know when you have an answer down, and I'll reveal to you whether it's correct or not. I can just feel the tension right now, and the absolute spite of both contestants towards my way of making questions, and I live off of it, thankfully. Righty-ho, do you both have an answer written down for me?
Yeah.
Sandri, do you have an answer?
I think so. Yeah.
Brilliant. Show me your answers on camera now. I won't bore everyone in 3, 2, 1.
Converts.
Do you consider what did you write down?
Confect.
Sandri, did you meant to say confect?
I did. I wrote it down.
Yep.
Brilliant. I just thought I heard you say something slightly different. I just wanted to double check before I revealed the correct answer. Because in fact, confect is the correct answer. What's an ingredient other than a material used to make something? So the actual prompt then becomes, it's the best you could do confecting a cake using literally anything except for what you were meant to use. And now, excitingly, we have one last question left. Yes, one last question left. So we've just did question 5. Now it's time for question number 6, the final question of Scribe Wars, unless someone has gotten somehow a tie. But yes, so which of these final questions shall I use for our Scribe Wars today? Let's go for something short and simple, shall we? Remember Mike from school? Have you heard what he's done now? Yeah, the crazy nutcase has been convicted for blank. Oof, intensity. I love these games and when you can just feel the competitiveness ooze off of people.
I don't know. I just feel like Seta is just wiping the floor with me. I think this is why I think this is why I should probably just stick to poetry instead of trying to get on Jeopardy, huh?
Well, you think? Don't worry about doing that way. I will admit that I was very mean-spirited when writing these questions.
Why?
I don't know. I'm bad at time management. I did this late at night. I was hungry and tired. I just didn't had any time fooling around. I just wrote a question. I went, yeah, that's good enough for me. I moved on with my life. My life. I mean, I woke up very late at 1 p.m. and then decided, man, now time to wait for the next 5 hours before Scribe Wars starts. But anyway, yes. Do you both have a word written down for that final question?
I
Can
do.
you pull it to me, to the camera, please? Now, please.
Now, okay. Okay.
You see it?
All right. Yes, I can see it. I'm just trying to read it because it's backwards for me. Can you read out both of your words?
The oxazillarod.
Oh, yeah. Ostracized.
Yeah, oxford.
I think so. Ostracized, exercise, I don't know. But I can tell you both that's the correct answer. Brilliant. There you go. I have the tallies now written down. And brilliant. So this has been a round of Scribe Wars. We've went through 2 Word Improv challenges, both of which date back fairly far back. I think it's about almost coming up from a year since Word Improv challenge number 11 was posted, and about 30-ish weeks since Word Improv challenge 18 has been posted. You could really tell how long I spend looking at these words trying to think of anything. But yeah, and I would be proud to announce that we do have a winner. There won't be a tiebreaker that I have to make up rules for. And the winner is Concetta. You have won Scribe Wars Duel number 3, one of our first, Scribe Wars are doing live on the Word Sleuth page. How do you feel?
Thank you. Thank you.
I yield to you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
You have vanquished me.
Barely. Chandra, you are on the ball. What are you talking about?
It was much closer than you would think, Chandra. So don't worry about that. Because obviously I have to keep track of the tallies. I won't say the tallies publicly because in Scribe Wars, especially the live version, it's not about winning or losing. Because as I will specify, the only parts of the rule I did not describe earlier is what happens when the game is over. What happens when the game is over is that our winner, the lovely, amazing Concetta, will be awarded 5 virtual coins. And although Sanjay did not manage to win, for having the courage and bravery to go live and in front of an audience and do all this jazz, he will still be rewarded with 2 virtual coins. And for anyone wondering, our lovely writers and you, if you win virtual coins off of the Scribe Wars solo version, which is played on the story of the Word Sleuth account, you'll be able to use them to cash it in for various prizes at Word Sleuth's discretion. Different prize pools for whoever you are, so there's something for everyone, whether you're a writer or reader, etc., etc. And with that, that concludes our live duel of Scribe Wars. Before we leave it off today, I know you both already introduced yourselves, but would you like to say one last thing to our audience and plug in your account where you are most active or what you've been doing recently or what you will be doing soon? Shall we start with Concetta?
All right. Well, you can find me here on Instagram at thewordywoman20. You can also find me on Twitter. I don't even know where I am anymore. I'm lucky I know where I'm at currently. I'm active on Twitter. I'm active, here. I just recently, onboarded to Coffee House Writers. You can find me on there as well. I'm working on new stuff all the time. As for my final words, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Chandra, you are a gentleman and a scholar. It's always wonderful to chat with you, and this was a lot of fun. Captain, you are the master of ceremonies, my friend, for a reason. So you did a fantastic, phenomenal job. Thank you so much for having us today.
No problem. Chandra, would you like to have any closing comments, remarks, and of course plug in where you are, what you're doing, what you will be doing, all that nice and good stuff?
Yes. So I'm right under the pen name, Sean P. Wrights. You can type that into any search engine, whether you use Bing, Google, or Alta Vista, or what have you. I am dating myself. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, here on Instagram, YouTube. I am in the process of finishing up my 3rd book, which is a cookbook. It combines the intersectionality of food, family, and poetry, because I'm also a genealogist. Following that 3rd book, I will be branching out into volume 3 of From the Water's Edge. I'm the author of the first 2 volumes of the From the Water's Edge series. So feel free to stop by any of my channels for a little bit of inspiration, because I am often known to pick up words from the water's edge. So I'll look forward to seeing you all there.
Outstanding, brilliant. Obviously, I've always said it, I'll say it again. Thank you both for coming live on Instagram Live to play this new gamified version, and of course to deal with my tricks and games and overall ceremonies, I guess you could call it. And with that, I'll say one last time, if you enjoy Scribe Wars or anything about the Word Improv community, follow the Word Improv account to learn more about the game and what we do, etc., etc., etc. Watch past the con interviews, participate in Word Improv Challenge, or watch and look out for when the next game comes out, or on the solo version. As for me, I've been your lovely trickery master of ceremonies, Captain the Full Sailor, an anonymous writer who will not reveal himself unless we've done 1,000 of these. Don't quote me on that. And with that, this concludes Scribe Wars number 3. You can find me on Instagram, all that nice stuff under the handlebar of @the4sailor. Righty ho. With that, would you, both of my contestants, like to say goodbye one last time as we finish and wrap up on this duel?
Goodbye, good people. Read more books. Books are your friends.
Good.
Words are your friends.
I'm sorry. Yes, good people. This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. And yes, for the writers out there, keep reading, keep boosting that vocabulary. It's going to happen. And for those who are doubting themselves on their works, you got this. You're going to get there. Do not lose faith.
And buy our books.
You know, I wasn't going to say that, but...
Shameless plug. That's what we're here for. Buy my books. Buy our books. And drop a review for our books as well. That's gold. That's gold for us writers, for us indie writers. Yes. Leave us a review and buy our books. Buy 3 of them.
He speaks the truth. Go on Amazon. Buy our stuff.
Absolutely. I echo everything these two say. And at least buy it. At least buy one of their books for what I put them through today. Righty-ho. That has been Scribe Wars number 3, the live duel. See you next time whenever I see you next. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.